Welcome back. Today's video is going to be on brass prep for precision hand loading 308 Winchester. Basically, I want to go over the steps I use when reloading or hand loading precision 308 cartridges. I've got 100 cartridges here, and I'm not going to bore you with doing that, but I've got 5 right here that I just pulled out of the bag. Basically, I'm going to show you the first thing we want to do is inspect the brass and check the brass length. Now, I've already checked all 100 pieces of this brass, and it's anywhere from 2.005 to 2.006, which is right at trim length for the 308, which is listed in the Sierra handbook as 2.005. And I'm not going to worry about 1/1000th of an inch. I might after fire forming. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to uniform the primer pockets, which also will help with loading CCI primers. CCI primers have a little bit of a hard jacket on the primer. People sometimes have a difficulty getting those to seat flush or just below flush. So basically what we're going to do is I've got right on this little Ryobi hand drill a Redding small rifle primer pocket uniformer. Now this brass is Starline match grade small rifle primer pockets on this brass. It takes the small rifle primers, and I'm using CCI 450, which are small magnum rifle primers, to ensure proper ignition of a full case load and no hang fires. Basically, you just take the little drill, you get it into the back of the primer pocket. Of course, it doesn't want to go in. There we go. Hold it flush, run it for a couple seconds, and you're done. It's as easy as that. And all this does is take down any high spots in the primer pocket, so a primer will go smoothly and easily in, giving you good feel on how your primer pocket is actually seating in the, or primer is seating in the primer pocket, which is important because you want to make sure you get that primer all the way down in that pocket. Okay, after doing that, what our concern is going to be next is after we look at the primer pockets, you can see some little hot spots where it touched a couple of little areas that the brass was a little high, and it just smooths them out, polishes them out. Now let's see if we can even get a good look here. Now this is brand new brass, so you should be able to see a little bit there. But anyhow, that's that step. And the next step we're going to do, now we've already measured these for length, and we've checked the size of the brass to make sure everything's in spec and the actual head space on them, that the shoulder's been set back to a uniform amount, which all these are within 1/1000th to a 1/2,000th with the Redding instant indicator. But then what we're going to do is we're going to take you over to the press, which we've got set up right here, as I bang off of every possible thing in here. And basically what we're going to do now is we're using the Lee collet die, which is basically a neck sizing die. And basically this is going to uniform our the mouse. So if there were any little dents or anything in the mouse from, being in a big bag, this is going to straighten them out. And it's also going to give us the neck tension that we want, which is going to be uniform. You put about 25 pounds of force down on this piece of brass, and it does its job. Everything's fighting me today. Once we get these 5 pieces out, then we'll go ahead and chamfer and deburr, and we'll be ready for primers and powder. It's really important to put the same amount of force every time on these cartridge casings, because any variation in the force you use will cause different tension on the bullet and cause different velocities, which will give you inaccuracy, especially when you're at extreme yardage. Once you do it about 50 times, you kind of get a feel for it on how hard to push on it. That's just sliding up on a mandrel, which it has a collet and it's tapered, so it forces the collet closed onto the brass neck, and then that's what gives you your tension on your neck. Okay, we've got these 5 pulled out of there. Bring them back over here. I'll bring y'all back over here with me. Now on these, what we're going to be doing, first I'm eyeballing them just to make sure I don't see anything that's going to be alarming to me. Even in brand new brass, every once in a while you'll come across some pieces that had a little goof, little mess up. Now this is a Redding chamfering tool, and what I like about it is it's got a second point of contact. In other words, when this is in, this goes down through your primer pocket hole, your flash hole, and holds it steady, so that when this is cutting the top on an angle, it's got one point of contact that's constant. And that also helps it quite a bit, give you a straight and even cut. And you don't have to do a lot. Basically all you're doing is just trying to get a ring, a shiny ring across there. And once that shiny ring is present, that's going to aid in your bullet seating into your cartridge case. And then you just want to use a deburring tool and crank it around there a couple times so you get a shiny line. That's all you're looking for. You don't want this to be so sharp when you put your thumb on here and spin it that it'll cut you, because all that's doing is wearing out the neck and the mouth of your case, and it'll cause splits and cracks in it prematurely before the brass has actually gotten to its end of its life cycle. Just checking over this chamfer. This is a new tool. I haven't used it that many times, but so far I really like it. putting a really nice chamfer on the inside mouth on the inside of the mouth, doing a really good job. There we go. You just want to leave as much meat inside and on the outside as you can, as long as you get a good chamfer and a slight deburr. You're just trying to knock down anything that shouldn't really be there. You're not really trying to remove a whole mess of material, because when you do that, then you get a knife edge. Okay. And with that, I'll just help if I put the right end into the piece of brass here. Basically, you're just trying to cut down the little burr that will form on that edge. And if you can see a polished line, you've done enough. Like when you look at the edges of these, you'll see, let's see if I can get it up on the camera here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you can see a little edge on there. Sometimes there's just not quite enough light. But yeah, you're just trying to remove a little bit and put an angle on there. I believe this deburring tool and chamfer, I think the chamfer tool does a 15-degree slant on the actual inside of the mouth. And I think the deburring tool does even a sharper or a less sharp angle. It's more of a less of an angle. I believe it's maybe 10 degrees. Or I mean, maybe 13 or 14 degrees rather. But that's basically it. Now we're ready for primers, powder, and bullets. And I also have out my concentricity gauge. And the reason why I was doing this was I wanted to check the run out in the necks of these cases. Getting quite a bit on that. I was getting almost 4 thousandths. I wasn't seeing that before. Right here I'm getting that's what I was getting. We got 1,000th negative, 1,000th positive. Yeah, it's getting 1,000 plus or minus. So I'm kind of wondering why that one's giving me quite that much run out that one case. It may have a little bit of a this is less than 1,000th either way. So I'm not sure. We'll have to address that in a minute. But that's basically how you prep your brass. And we're going to go through the whole 9 yards of fire forming this, because right now we're just going to be making loads to fire form the brass to get it ready for precision loading then for the next load series. So the next series will be priming, powder, and bullets for these initial charges. Thank you for watching very much, and you guys have a great day.